one of those perfect days to be out, Sully thought. The 3 Dacron sails belayed and whispering, white bow waves singing pleasant songs as the fiberglass hull, tilting to starboard, sliced through the ocean. It was a day filled with goodness, peace, and beauty. They'd come south as far as Cabo Caldet, turning back north only an hour ago. They'd sailed from Catalina Island's Avalon Harbor, the Sea Dog's home port, out in the channel off Los Angeles. Sully had borrowed the boat from a family friend, Bo Tucker, a stockbroker with enough money to outfit it and maintain it properly. Built by Ta Shing of Taiwan, she was heavy and sturdy, with a teakwood deck and handsome teakwood interior, and the latest in navigation equipment. Sully had sailed her at least a dozen times. He'd been around boats, motor and sail, for many of his 19 years. He thought the old Sea Dog was the best in her category that he'd ever piloted. As he was about to complete northeast tack, Sully's attention was drawn to a squadron of seagulls diving on small fish about 100 yards off the port bow, and he did not see the giant wave that had crept up silently behind the Sea Dog. But a split second before it lifted the boat like a carpenter's check, he sensed something behind him and glanced backward, toward the towering wall of shining water. It was already too late to shout a warning to Scoot so she could escape from the cabin. Too late to do anything except hang on to the wheel with both hands. Too late to even pray. He did manage a yell as the Sea Dog became vertical. She rose up the surface of the wall stern first, and then pitch-pulled violently, end over end, the bow submerging and the boat going upside down, taking Sully and Scoot with it. The 40-foot mast, sails intact, now pointing toward the bottom. Scoot was hurled upward, legs and arms flying, her head striking the after galley bulkhead, and then the companionway steps and the interior deck, which was now the ceiling. She instantly blacked out. Everything loose in the cabin was scattered around what had been the overhead. Water was pouring in and was soon lapping at Scoot's chin. It was coming from a 4-inch porthole that had not been docked securely, and a few other smaller points of entry. Sully's feet were caught under forestay sailcloth, plastered around his face. But then he managed to shove clear and swim upward, breaking water. He looked at the mound of upside-down hull, bottom to the sky, unable to believe that the fine, sturdy Sea Dog had been flipped like a cork, perhaps trapping Scoot inside. Treading water, trying to collect his thoughts, he yelled, "Scoot!" But there was no answer. Heart pounding, unable to see over the mound of the hull, he circled it, thinking she might have been thrown clear. But there was no sign of her. He swam back to the point of cabin entry, took several deep breaths, and dove. He felt along the hatchboards, and then opened his eyes briefly to see that the doors were still closed. She was still inside. Maneuvering his body, he pulled on the handles. The doors were jammed, and he returned to the surface for air. He knew by the way the boat had already settled that there was water inside her. Under usual circumstances, the hull being upright, there would be 4 feet 9 inches of hull below the waterline. There would be about the same to the cabin overhead, enabling a 6-foot person to walk about down there. Panting, blowing, Sully figured there was at least a 3-foot air pocket holding the Sea Dog on the surface, and if Scoot hadn't been knocked unconscious and drowned, she could live for quite a while in the dark chamber. How long? He didn't know. In the blackness, water continued to lap at Scoot's chin. She had settled against what had been the deck of the galley alcove, her body in an upright position on debris. Everything not tied down or in a locker was now